Alrighty, good morning everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's August 16th, 2023. Let's go ahead and do a quick review of what happened yesterday, and then we'll get into our pre-market this morning. 1 second here. Let's scroll on back here, and again, the same story. We've had the same story for multiple days now, with all the cards showing potential for that bullish rotation in the context of this choppy kind of pullback that we're currently in. So coming into the open yesterday, again, it was the same picture that we had the day before and the day before that. Of course, what we needed to see by the bulls to have any faith in the potential signals setting up was to get up through 50% of last week. Just as a starter, before the market open here, we said getting through 50% of last week, getting through that overnight high. These were some initial things we wanted to see the bulls do to have any type of faith in the beginning of this rotation. Again, remember, we had clues, but no confirmation in price action just yet. When we came into the open yesterday, if you guys were here for the pre-market, I told you about this little area, and I'm going to go ahead and actually erase all the drawings that were there and talk about this. So just before the market opened, we were looking at the chart, and I told you that not only was there a nice 38% retracement lining up right here with the VWAP, but if you zoomed out and looked at the bigger picture, and I'm not going to go to a higher time frame right now, but on the 512, the lows from the end of the day before there, where we got all this support, and then the market rallied up to a new high for the day. I told you, and then if we zoom back and you can't see it, again, we'd have to go to the higher time frames to see the bigger picture. But there was a lot of support and resistance going on in the market right about there, right? So we talked about this little range around 44.89, 44.90 area. We saw that it was lining up, again, before the market opened here, lining up almost perfectly with the VWAP. And it was also, again, nearly a perfect 38% retracement zone. And, this goes back to a question that we had in the weekly webinar. Someone asked, well, everything looks perfect when you go back and you look in the past and you review the historical charts. Yeah, we get all these beautiful holds right off our levels. But then when we're trading live, I just don't know what to do. And the idea is you need to anticipate all of these kind of textbook setups, tagging up into VWAP and getting a failure, tagging up around the 38% retracement and getting a failure, tagging up into these strong areas of support and resistance and getting a failure. And when you have all three lining up, that is your textbook type of setup where you get a nice leg down, a nice healthy 38 retracement. That's also VWAP. Again, is also this really interesting support and resistance area. That right there, you kind of have to visualize it beforehand. That is a beautiful trade setup. Whether it works or not, that's a different story. And trading is all about surviving through your losses to get to your good winning trade. So this would have been a great opportunity. I warned you guys, again, just as the market was opening here and we were inching up right into that pocket from about 89 to 90. I told you guys this right here was going to be our first area of expected resistance. Well, what ended up happening yesterday? We came right to VWAP, right into this pocket, 44.89 to 44.90 there. It did peak through by 3 ticks, a whole 3 ticks on the ES, and then that was it. So if you shorted the 89 to 90 area yesterday, my first area of expected resistance that I told you guys about, you would have gotten the best trade of the day. That was it. It held VWAP. There is that textbook hold of VWAP that we talk about every single day. And then the market went ahead and sold off. Okay, if you missed the short off VWAP, you got a perfect textbook opportunity right off the 200. Right? I feel like it's like Groundhog's Day every single morning where I just point out the same exact setups over and over again here. But right off the 200, comes down, gets some parrying right around the close of the low of the day before there, and then pops right back to the 200 again. And the first test actually was a beautiful 50% retracement, if I'm just going by eyes here. And yeah, to the tick, 50%, and the 200 there, and even arguably this whole little support area from earlier, right? So beautiful opportunities yesterday to get short off these areas. If you missed the first and the second, well, you got another third chance here right off the 200 again. Now, was it a perfect retracement? No, but beautiful hold right off the 200 there. And then what do you know? We find the most significant bounce of the morning after everything opened here right off our scaffolding level, right? So maybe an opportunity to try a buy there. You know, I'm not going to say I would have bought or not, but right off the scaffolding level, nearly to the tick, and we get this nice rally up. And where does it go? 2 or 3 ticks. What is that? 2 ticks in front of the VWAP there to get this significant pullback. Again, I mean, it's day in, day out, guys. So right off the VWAP, again, two ticks in front. Fortunately, did not tag it to the tick. And then we went sideways. And the rest of the day, nothing interesting really happened here. We did hold right around their scaffolding area, not surprisingly. Holding it the first time and then holding it a tick in front on this deeper test. And then, again, like I said, it basically went sideways here. We came down, and there was nothing else really notable to mention here outside of, yeah, nice little holds right off the fast moving average on a lot of these little legs that we got. But overall, the idea of this yesterday was, hey, get short off that first expected resistance zone, especially if you were noticing that we were testing and testing and testing that area and seeing no follow through there. And then again, if you missed it, you could have tried this tag, could have tried the 200 on two tests there. And then again, I would have been taking profit right in front of our scaffolding area because that's an area of expected support, right? So some great stuff there. And then that brings us here into our overnight session where the market held the low of the day before to the tick, and then even came down a couple times and had trouble. And now here we are pushing to new lows. The overnight session, again, in terms of VWAP, we've been talking about these setups for a couple weeks now, how we basically hold VWAP, get below it, hold below it, get above it, hold above it to the tick there, and get a little shy peek through, right? It was super choppy, but if you really scrutinize the price action here, it's still holding VWAP, pulling back, getting above VWAP, holding VWAP to the upside, pulling back, holding VWAP nearly to the tick, right? So if you really look at this dynamic support and resistance that we have on our charts, it is unbelievably accurate, right? So pretty good stuff there in the overnight. Just if all you had on your chart was the VWAP, right? It held above, held below, held above, held above, held above, held below, and then bam, 2 tests, and then we got this little rally in the overnight session. And now here we are coming into the open, and again, didn't hold it beautifully for a big bounce there, so that really wasn't anything sexy, but held it from the downside here, 2 tests, 3 tests, and 4 tests, and now here we are coming down lower. Okay, so just great stuff. Let's go ahead and go to the higher time frames and do our pre-market for this morning.